Introduction from the sociopath next door. Again, I think we need to understand the mindset of the devils from Davos and that they're not truly humans. But from Martha Stroud's book, The Sociopath Next Door. Imagine, if you can, not having a conscience, none at all. No feelings of guilt or remorse no matter what you do. No limiting sense of concern for the well-being of strangers, friends, or even family members. Imagine no struggle with shame, not a single one in your whole life, no matter what kind of selfish, lazy, harmful, or immoral action you had taken. And pretend that the concept of responsibility is unknown to you, except as a burden others seem to accept without question, like gullible fools. Now add to the strange fantasy the ability to conceal from other people that your psychological makeup is radically different from theirs. Since everyone simply assumes that conscience is universal among human beings, hiding the fact that you are conscience-free is nearly effortless. You are not held back from any of your desires by guilt or shame, and you are never confronted by others for your cold-bloodedness. The ice water in your veins is so bizarre, so completely outside of their personal experience, that they seldom even guess at your condition. In other words, you're completely free of internal restraints, and your unhampered liberty to do just as you please with no pangs of conscience is conveniently invisible to the world. You can do anything at all. And still, your strange advantage over the majority of the people who are kept in line by their consciences will most likely remain undiscovered. We'll skip ahead a paragraph. Maybe you are someone who craves money and power, and though you have no vestige of conscience, you do have a magnificent IQ. You have the driving nature and the intellectual capacity to pursue tremendous wealth and influence. You are no way moved by the nagging voice of conscience that prevents other people from doing everything and anything they have to do to succeed. You choose business, politics, law, banking, or international development, or any other array of broad power professions. And you pursue your career with a cold passion that tolerates none of the usual moral or legal encumbrances. When it is expedient, you doctor the accounting and shred the evidence. You stab your employees and your clients or your constituency in the back. Marry for money, tell lethal, premeditated lies to people who trust you, attempt to ruin colleagues who are powerful or eloquent, and simply steamroll over groups who are dependent and voiceless. All of this you do with the exquisite freedom that results from having no conscience whatsoever. You become unimaginably, unassailably, and maybe even globally successful. Why not? With your big brain and no conscience to rein in your schemes, you can do anything at all. Or no, let us say you're not quite such a person. You're ambitious, yes, and in the name of success you are willing to do all manner of things that people with conscience would never consider. But you are not an intellectually gifted individual. Your intelligence is above average, perhaps. People think of you as smart, maybe even very smart. But you know in your heart of hearts that you do not have the cognitive wherewithal or the creativity to reach the careening heights of power that you secretly dream about. And this makes you resentful of the world at large and envious of the people around you. As this sort of person, you ensconce yourself in a niche, or maybe a series of niches, in which you have some amount of control over small numbers of people. These situations satisfy a little of your desire for power, although you're chronically aggravated at not having more. It chafes to be so free of the ridiculous inner voice that inhibits others from achieving great power, without having enough talent to pursue the ultimate successes yourself. Sometimes you fall into sulky, rageful moods caused by frustration that no one but you understands. But you do enjoy jobs that afford you a certain unsupervised control over a few individuals or small groups. preferably people in groups who are relatively helpless or in some way vulnerable. You are a teacher or a psychotherapist, a divorce lawyer, or a high school coach. Or maybe you are a consultant of some kind, a broker or a gallery owner or a human services director. Or maybe you do not have a paid position and instead are the president of your condominium association, a volunteer hospital worker, or a parent. Whatever your job, you manipulate and bully people who are under your thumb as often and as outrageously as you can get away without getting fired or held accountable. You do this for its own sake, even when it serves no purpose except to give you a thrill. Making people jump mean you have power, or this is the way you see it. And bullying provides you with an adrenaline rush. It is fun. Stick with me, the book gets more interesting as we get into story time. She tells some stories. So you see we're at 6 minutes. I'm going to leave the video here and carry on, pick it up where it is.